Everything happened so fast, without a warning. Around 54 are dead and nobody is sure of how many are missing. Some say around 100, some put it at 200. It was October the 4th, just after midnight, when the disaster struck. It started with the Glacier lake burst. The water gushed through the river. It crushed everything on the way. Chungthang town was submerged. Then it took down the biggest dam in Sikkim, Chungthang Dam or Teesta 3, because it's built across the river Teesta and there are so many other dams. The floodwater along with the water in the dam reservoir then raged downstream. 14 bridges collapsed. Part of National Highway 10 were washed away. Many places are still cut off from the mainland. Data on death and destruction are still not completely ascertained. Well, all these are pretty much the same description of any flood situation. But what happened in Sikkim has a difference. It was predicted well before. Yes, in fact, many knew that this would definitely happen. This is the story of how governments and authorities foolishly turned a blind eye to crystal clear facts and scientific findings. What happened is not just a natural calamity, but a real man-made disaster. Let me explain to you how. Do you know how many dams the small state of Sikkim has so far? 30. This tiny state has the largest number of dams per square area if you compare it with other parts of the country. The dam, which has been crushed by the floods, is part of a series of dams built across River Teesta. The disaster is explained as a Glacier lake outburst flood. It happens when a sudden release of water occurs due to the inability of the lake walls to hold or contain water. The lake in which it happened now is called South Lonak Lake. It was formed from the melting of the Lonak Glacier. The melting has been increasing in the last 3-4 decades, making it one of the most dangerous lakes susceptible to such bursts. In 2012, a Sikkim government commissioned study by Center for Development of Advanced Computing noted a doubling in the area. That means the doubling in the area of the Glacier Lake. After 9 years, in 2021, a study published in the Geomorphology Journal stated that the enormous volume of water in this highly dynamic, high-mountain environment makes this lake a priority for flood risk management.
Climate change is real, global warming is real. I think our glaciers are melting at a very high speed, and it is like 180 hectares of this. The glaciers, the scale of this glaciers was, according to the report, says that it is 180 hectares, which was drained out, and that has caused. Plus, not to forget that it was the 1200 megawatts, and that also have impacted the lower downstream. A lot of casualties and a lot of properties have lost. All the National Highway 10 is totally washed out, and my region, I'm from Zongo. It's a reserve left to indigenous reserve area. The major two river has been washed out. The Zongo is cut off from rest of the world, and the Sikkim needs emergency attention from the central government. And I want to tell through this video that to have multiple dams coming up in Sikkim, I think the policy makers, the decision makers, the central government and state government need to rethink, restudy, and review all this series of dams.
To add to this threat is the fact that this part of Himalayas is very, very fragile. Any activity can cause high impacts. Sikkim faced a devastating earthquake in 2011. Everything perished. Still, the government thought that building dams was a good idea. The Teesta 3 or Chungthang Dam, which doesn't exist anymore, was the biggest in the state, producing 1,200 megawatts of power. It started as a 5,000 crore project. It got stalled for some time due to the 2011 devastating earthquake. But the government went ahead with the project after the earthquake and completed it, incurring a huge expense. Officially, it's more than 13,000 crore. And now it has been proved that the dam couldn't stand such floods.
The spillway capacity of this dam was 7,000 cubic meters per second, which possibly suggests that it was not designed to take care of the gloughs. But the Gulf was a known threat to this area. And these were known, I mean, we know the Gulf as a threat for decades now. So the dam should have been designed, and particularly a rock-filled concrete dam. This is a rock-filled concrete dam. It's not just a concrete dam. A rock-filled concrete dam is more vulnerable compared to a concrete dam. And rock-filled concrete dam needs to be even better designed in terms of spillway capacity and spillway maintenance. It seems it was not. And even as far as the maintenance of spillway gates are concerned, if it is not maintained properly, that's also the lookout of the Dam Safety Organization, including Central Water Commission. So there are a lot of serious questions being raised about the whole episode.
India has previously experienced such floods in the Himalayan region. We remember the Kedarnath tragedy in 2013. From there to the Chamoli disaster in 2021. However, this is the first time an event of this scale has impacted the northeastern region of our country. Nevertheless, why is the government hell-bent on building dams? The official answer is generate more electricity for development, for nation building, for the people. But building dams is also a huge business opportunity for many.
They are in the ambitious and madly and stupid idea saying that there is a potential of generating 8,000 megawatts of electricity in a small state like Sikkim. Basically, I think it's not about generating electricity. It's basically there is a lot of corruption that takes place in these kinds of projects. If I say that stage 3 is a failed project, okay, 1200 megawatts is a failed project because in 2005, according to techno-economic clearance, the cost project of 1200 megawatts in 2005 was rupees 5,705 crore. And this project was commissioned in 2017. By the time it was commissioned, the cost of this project went above 14,000 crore. So when people question why it went above 14,000 crore, they were saying that in 2011, not to forget that we had a massive earthquake in 2011, that has added their cost. When they knew this Sikkim lies in the most seismological area, why they have to build such dams in such a fragile area? So these are the things that we need to question to the government, even to the financial institution who is giving loans to these companies.
People have been protesting against the building of Teesta 3 Dam and other dams in the area. The indigenous Lepcha tribe has been in the forefront of the struggle. Digging numerous tunnels for these dams have already been causing several landslides in the region, making people's life horrible. On the disaster day, there were 5 operational dams across the river Teesta and at least 12 were under construction. Many of them are now filled with debris from the flood. Who all are the losers here? Foremost, the people who lost their dear ones and the property. It will take years to get over the grief and even more to overcome the loss incurred. Then the environment of the region, it has suffered grave damages. And what about the money incurred? What about the huge expenses paid to build this dam, which is no more, and other dams that are damaged? The Chungtan Dam project, which took 2 decades to complete, changed hands first from private companies to state government and then to a public-private joint venture. Our nationalized banks and national institutions have pumped in a lot of money. Life Insurance Corporation, Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency, Punjab National Bank, Bank of Baroda, Canara Bank, United Bank of India, Dena Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Punjab and Sindh Bank, Rural Electrification Corporation. There is much more to tell about the Sikkim tragedy, about the construction of huge roads to allow influx of tourists, building of roads, building of highways, large buildings. It's a big story. All of them have contributed their own share to this disaster. The dream of a very huge hydel power, as we wish, is neither financially viable or environmentally sustainable. And everybody knew it. Still, those in the high tables decided to go forward. That's what we should be scared about, more than the floods and earthquakes. The government, the officials, the banks, everybody knew that this will happen someday. Still, they went ahead to build the dams. And it's very sure that after the hue and cry around this disaster will settle, they will again go on to build dams. Very scary. Goodbye till we meet again.